Today, we're diving into a really important report out of India's Meghalaya state. It gives us a brutally honest look at an education system that's really in trouble, but it also lays out this incredible blueprint for change. So let's get into it. What went wrong, and what's the plan to make it right?
So first off, why was this report even necessary? Well, this wasn't just some routine checkup. We're talking about a response to a full-blown emergency in Meghalaya's schools. And it all kicked off with one truly shocking number.
Get ready for this. 124. That's how many schools had not a single student pass the 2024 state board exams, a 0% pass rate. And for 36 of those schools, it was the third year in a row, a real wake-up call.
You just can't ignore a failure on that scale, right? So in response, the government put together the Meghalaya State Education Commission, or MSEC. Their job? Figure out what on earth was going on.
Now, the MSEC's mission wasn't just to write a report. It was tasked with digging deep, diagnosing the root causes of the crisis, and then building a complete roadmap for reform, all guided by India's new national education policy.
So what did the commission actually find when they started looking under the hood? Well, they found a system under just immense strain. And it all starts with the absolute basics, its infrastructure.
I mean, just let this sink in. 95% of elementary schools don't have electricity. In an age where we're all talking about digital learning, that one fact is just a massive, massive roadblock.
And it doesn't stop there. Basic accessibility is a huge problem. 62% of schools don't have ramps. That's effectively locking the door on so many students with disabilities who are just trying to get an education.
And the problems go all the way down to basic sanitation. 1 in every 5 schools has no toilet at all. You know, this isn't just an inconvenience. It's a major reason kids don't show up, especially young girls.
But the problems aren't just with the buildings. They're baked into the system itself. Now, most teachers, as you'd expect, are in government or government-aided schools. But see that little slice for unrecognized schools? That points to a pretty big shadow education sector that's operating completely outside of any official oversight.
And this goes way beyond infrastructure. It's a human resources crisis. You've got critical staff shortages at the administrative level, where one person might be juggling 2 or 3 different jobs. That shadow sector has more than 2,000 teachers, and we have no idea what their qualifications are. And here's the real kicker. Even the institute that's supposed to train the teachers has its own serious qualification gaps.
And right at the top, the whole governance structure is just a tangled mess. For colleges, it's like they're caught in this constant tug of war. A central university, NEP, handles all the academic stuff, but it's the state government that controls the money and the buildings. This split creates a ton of confusion and makes everything so inefficient.
Okay, so you've got crumbling infrastructure, a staffing crisis, and a tangled mess of governance. So what's the plan? Well, the commission laid out a really clear blueprint for a total overhaul. The whole report really boils down to 4 main pillars for reform. First, you've got to fix that governance mess. Second, you have to invest big in teachers, their qualifications, their training, the whole shebang. Third, tackle that massive infrastructure deficit head-on. And fourth, start building new state-run institutions so you're not so reliant on others. And the guiding light for all of this, as this quote from the report makes crystal clear, is the National Education Policy 2020. This isn't about reinventing the wheel. It's about taking a modern national framework and tailoring it to solve Meghalaya's unique challenges.
And listen, this isn't just talk. This change is already happening. Get this. After 53 years of statehood, Meghalaya inaugurated its very first state-owned university in January 2025. I mean, that is a monumental step toward educational self-sufficiency.
But remember that second pillar, investing in teachers? Well, that has to start at the absolute source, the people who train them. And at the state's main training institute, DIRT, you see a huge problem. More than half the faculty lack a PhD, and nearly 2/3 haven't passed the key national exam. The bottom line is simple, right? You can't produce great teachers if the trainers themselves aren't properly qualified.
But despite all these deep systemic challenges, there are some really powerful signs of hope. Just look at this turnaround in the high school exam pass rates. After being stuck in the 50s, the rate suddenly jumped to over 87%. This was mostly thanks to a targeted government program called CM Impact that provided extra coaching. It just goes to show that focused interventions can work, and they can work fast. So, after looking at the crisis, the diagnosis, and the proposed solutions, what's the big takeaway here? What's the final lesson from this incredibly comprehensive review?
I think the report's main lesson is this. While you can get some quick wins, real, lasting transformation is a marathon, not a sprint. Building a future-ready education system is a generational challenge. It's going to take sustained investment and political will over many, many years to truly rebuild this system from the ground up.
And that leaves us with the big question, doesn't it? The problems are immense, but for the first time, there's a detailed, clear-eyed plan to fix them. The roadmap is there. So can Meghalaya turn this huge challenge into its greatest strength for the next generation? The journey to find out begins right now.